What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Mack.
And it's your boy Curtis, aka the Carolina Smash.
And we back with another episode of the Black Heroes Podcast.
Woo!
Although, this is a little bit of a special episode.
Right.
Because this is the episode with our first guest, Quan Credible. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you guys. I'm super happy to be here.
Just saying, I feel like your name would be a good, hero name in My Hero. It's just saying, when you really think about it. Quan
it would be a good hero name, actually. I didn't even think about that.
Really I think it would be a good quirk, though. Like, Quan Credible.
Hey, first off, this man does Black Clover stuff. Stop trying to contaminate people.
I've actually thought about that so many times. Because, I've thought about what my quirk is in My Hero. I really have no idea. I feel like it'd be something, really mundane. I don't think I'd have anything hype.
Yeah, I'm about to say, for me, I couldn't think of, at least for all the quirks thrown in there, I have no idea.
I also bro, I want Overhaul's quirk. I want to, touch something that can turn into something else.
So, you can violate children?
What?
You're terrible, dude. You are terrible, dude.
Jesus, man. See, how you get all pervy all of a sudden?
That's like if I said I wanted Midnight's quirk so I could practice my Bill Cosby days. That's just,
Okay, first of all, you had Bill Cosby days?
Nah, I didn't. Technically, Bill Cosby days was a show. I got Mr. Hustable days.
Oh God.
But for anybody who needs to know, Quan Credible, he runs a YouTube channel that is pretty much Black Clover based, and he does really great in-depth reviews and analysis on what's going on in the story. So if you can, check out his YouTube. We'll have it linked in the description as well as his social media. So be sure to check him out. It's great content, also great conversation. And he streams every now and then. I ain't gonna lie, man. I will not play you in Quartet Nights. You a little too good.
Oh, man. Really?
Oh, yeah. I was watching the stream the other day, and I was like, man, I couldn't do this shit with Yami. I wish I could.
So you gotta believe in yourself, Mike. You gotta do a month of training.
Nah, this man done surpassed his limits. I ain't fucking with him.
I'm actually I think in Quartet Nights, I'm on that senior Magic night rank. I'm right under Wizard King.
Oh man, I gotta get back into it then. I haven't played that junk in months.
Wait, alright, so Quan, quick question before we get started. Alright, out of all the Magic Nights, which group would you be a part of? I already know Mike is a Black Bull, but what about you? I personally would be a Crimson Lion. That's just personally me. Or who would you be?
Oh man, so I don't know if you guys have seen my profile, but I would definitely be a member of the Golden Dawn.
Uppity.
Hey,
let him be first class.
All right, you want to be bougie with the pinky
first
out.
class. That's the only reason why. They are the elites. They are the absolute best, the number one squad. So it's I agree with you. Why would I not join the number one squad if I had the opportunity to do?
Because you could be a Black Bull and be the low key best that people just don't like.
Yeah, but that's too much of a come up, man. That's too much work. So
that's
a lot of work.
Come up story, man.
Everybody does not like me.
That's how we all doing it right now,
man.
Man.
We on the negatives, man.
We all on the come up right now.
How y'all get negative?
Because people just can't handle real shit.
Negative 30, what, 31?
Nah, they're negative 50. But yeah, so Quan, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started on YouTube, what made you want to do the content, that you're doing now?
I had wanted a YouTube channel forever because I remember first watching lots of anime related YouTube videos back with for Neverworld when he was popular and stuff, and it made me want to have one. So I remember I kind of started one once before as a gaming channel, but it flopped, and then I ended up getting fired from the job I was working at, and then I worked at GameStop, and then I got fired, so I was able to have a lot more time to dedicate to it in between me finding another job. So then I just kind of I remember reading Black Clover, and I was this, because it was still relatively new. I picked it up I picked it up before the anime and all that other stuff. I was I could talk about this because the anime's coming up. I could actually really grow as a channel with the series at the same time. And then I just started it, and I quit for a little bit, and then I came back. I came back at the beginning of 2019, and I've just been making videos. I try to make videos. Well, I have made videos every week since.
Dude, that's what's up. Because I actually technically tried to make a gaming channel, and like what killed me was just when I started working a lot. It was just like, dang, I can't put the same amount of time I used to, and you can see I haven't really go to my gaming channel as like almost like an archive. Like I haven't uploaded in so long. I would love to go back to it one day, but well, fingers crossed. But I'm
finding
glad
that balance
uploading
between like YouTube and work is like so hard, especially when you're not like super huge. Like just like me or you, it's like finding that balance is difficult.
Well, hopefully, if you're doing Black Heroes, I can learn to be more disciplined. Hopefully start uploading on the weekly.
Hey man, video editing is a bitch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey man,
it's tiring.
Last night was like my first time, because Mike usually does the editing. Last night was my first time editing. Now I can see why it is so time consuming, because boy, 5 hours.
When you have like that huge chunk and you just need to cut it down so much, and there's so many good parts and all that. I know me, I try to like have as small like raw footage as possible, because I don't even be wanting to go through it and like try to edit it down. Oh man.
And now I learn when people say like, oh, a 5-minute video can take like hours of editing to do. I feel that now.
I mean, most definitely. Oh, sorry about that. What you saying, man?
Because like I'll start. Oh no, you're good. I was saying like I'll start my chapter. Like I'm pretty sure like all of the chapter reviewers, we all start our videos literally right after we like read the chapter at like noon. And just like those people who get it up first, either they're just crazy or they didn't do like a lot of editing. Like, because like I don't do that much editing, and it still takes me like 4 hours just editing to get it done. Like.
Yeah, some people, they get cheap. They have the little prerequisite programs and be having to just kind of throw what they already done in there and then throw up images and stuff. And I'm like, man, boy, I wish I could just save some of these edits.
Yeah, I mean,
but don't you just wish you
I mean, you know, at the same time, it is whatever works for the free, I guess.
But most definitely, if you're listening, be sure to support the channel, especially if you read the Black Clover manga, because everybody loves the manga more than the anime. I personally like the anime better because I just like some of the extra things they throw in there, some of the extra interactions, and a lot of people complain about the voice acting, but the voice acting does make the show hilarious. Like,
talking about sub or dub?
Actually, right now, I'm really enjoying the sub.
Okay, I think like it's just the beginning, like that sub at the beginning is what like turn a lot of people off.
Hey man, old buddy that does Asta, I remember reading an article where apparently like he was getting like bashed a lot at the beginning, but last year he was, I think, awarded like one of the best voice awards.
So that's what's up. Like,
so he's doing it justice, and for the past arc, he's doing really good, and he's keeping everything calm and keeping it level with screaming and everything else about it. So I'm really enjoying just the voice acting. That's why I can never tell anybody, only read the manga for Black Clover. Like, nah, you gotta watch the anime because you gotta see those extra interactions. And I prefer the dub over the sub because, I ain't gonna lie, one of my favorite voice actresses does Noelle, and she kills that part. So definitely always check out the anime. But if you do read the manga, you definitely gotta check out Incredible to get a different perspective on the chapters, and also to get a little bit more in depth into what happened.
So I'm just glad now that like I gave Black Clover another chance, because actually I'm enjoying it. And now that my hero's on his break now, I can have the majority of my time is led to get fully like deep into Black Clover now, fully entrenched in it. And I will keep being entrenched even when my hero comes back. I'll try to do a great balance between the two.
I mean, one comes out on a Tuesday, one comes out on a Saturday. Like, come on, dude, it's 4 days.
But like usually when I work, I watch out my anime like on my days off. So like I'll just like watch out my hero, and then I'll watch a little bit of Black Clover, unless something else like.
Man, you just sound like a noob. Enough with your bullshit.
What you mean? I mean, I am a Black hero. I'm not a Black hero. I am a Black Clover noob. I will admit that I am a Black Clover noob.
But it's Black heroes all day.
I am a pro hero in my hero though. I mean, it's like going from basketball to football. Like
it's actually pretty funny. I like, even though I am a Black Clover channel, I actually like my hero like a little bit more than Black Clover, just because I like superheroes. So like,
Facts.
so that's like,
I mean, that's a pretty much living in the West type thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're superhero driven, and I can't lie. When My Hero was coming up, I was super excited about it because I was like, "Oh man, it's a hero anime," and I just didn't fully catch on to Midoriya that like everybody else did.
Hey man, if Black Clover came out when Harry Potter was popping, it might be a different tune. But like My Hero came out when Marvel was a big
oh
thing.
yeah, that's a good point.
I think what it was just that like I always said, with Clover, you had a different perspective of storytelling. So, it kind of moved into a thing where, they really put effort into point out, like, how the Black Bulls were definitely different than society. So I can see where that turned off a lot of people, whereas My Hero, these were just regular everyday kids, So I can definitely see where some people were like, oh no, I just vibe with My Hero better. But for me, with Black Clover, I just like the idea of like social outcasts, and they fit being social outcasts. Like Magna was a delinquent, Luck was insane, Vanessa was sexy and always naked, which I appreciated. I ain't say that. Yami was just like, a killer. So I just vibe with that social outcast feel vibe more than just My Hero, where Midoriya kind of he fit into the fold a little bit too much for me, where I'm like, all right, well, what's singling you out from everybody else?
I mean, the only hate he got was from Bakugo. That was about it.
Right, that was like the only hate he would really ever get.
And when you had Black Clover, it was just more of like, it fit more because the social rejects were social rejects. Midoriya technically was a social reject, and then he got a ticket, into the group, and then it was just kind of like, haha, ain't no reject no more, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else brought up the fact that he's quirkless. Bakugo was being Bakugo, and but everybody else is just like, oh look, you're just like one of us with a quirk. Like technically, yes, I definitely am a quirk human being. Yes. Yeah. Bad days are behind me now.
I will say like one thing I said one character I like the most in Black Clover is Noelle, because Noelle technically should be the one who fits in with the structure of society, but she doesn't. Like, she's a royal, but she basically gets treated like trash by her own family. Like, it still kind of hurt when like her brother said, so "Oh,
times.
like you killed her mother, you should have died too." I'm like, damn. I was like,
yeah. Wow. By the way, Quan, I mean, you caught up, so you kind of know Nozelle's backstory and stuff, but it's still team fuck Nozelle. I'm sorry. As much as I like his character now, I still just low key hate that man.
I do not blame you on that one. To me, it always seemed like if they wanted to make Noelle the main character of Black Clover, it would still fit, which is the funniest part. You can't say that about like too many other like female leads in different animes. It's like
I have to agree with that. Just imagine like Uraraka leading My Hero. I like Uraraka now, but I don't really see her,
I like her, but like
carrying the story on her back.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, like she wouldn't be like it wouldn't be as interesting.
I consider Uraraka like a human version of a minion from Despicable Me.
No, you just stole that from next talk. You ain't actually think.
No, okay.
Yeah.
But when you said it, I agreed.
You didn't think that at first. You didn't actually make that up. When you saw her.
I didn't say I made it up. I said she's a minion.
I still don't see her as a minion. I ain't, even when like one of the movies, the minion put on a wig and I didn't see it, so I don't know. I mean, that was a wild thing. It was funny, but I was like, what the fuck you talking about?
Because I guess she's got that like airhead, bubbly personality, and that's basically what a minion is.
That's a good point. Yeah, but most definitely for me, it was just always more, I just vibed more with it. I mean, because I'm a much bigger fan of One Piece than anything. So, I mean, and yet, what can you call a Straw Hats outside of social outcasts?
That is true. But I am glad that like we kind of discussed like where we stand like in like the fandoms, because this is basically our topic for today. Fandoms and the toxicity in these respective fandoms. And not even just anime, just in media in general, just toxic people and everybody's fan bases.
Yeah, so pretty much the topic for today's episode, as Curtis just said, toxicity in fandoms. We're going to be talking about what toxicity is to us, how exactly fandoms become toxic, and examples of like toxic moments we've dealt with and perspective moments, and also a good way to combat toxicity? Because I think a lot of people don't really know how to do that. When they get hit with something toxic, you kind of just get, like, somebody says something mean to you, and then you just immediately go to say something mean right back. But all that really does is cause, like, a longer strife that you didn't have to deal with if you either ignored it or just, like, calmly stated your claim, you know? So I think...
Right, it perpetuates the, like, cycle of toxicity. Like...
So... Most definitely, I think it'll be good to just kind of get ideas and how to handle it better, especially from 3 different perspectives. Because, I mean, everybody handles things differently. You know, you can't always just do the same thing. Sometimes things don't work. Sometimes from a different mindset, you just think something works better. So definitely, I'm really glad that we have a guest in for this episode of the podcast. And thanks again for coming in to do the show. So really appreciate you, Quan.
Yeah, of course, anytime.
Well, yeah, Quan, so, like, let's let you go first. Like, what is your definition of, like, toxicity? Like, in fandoms, what is your definition of that?
So, like, to me, like, I guess, like, toxicity and I really should have, like, thought of these answers beforehand. But, like, to me, toxicity in fandoms is almost like when people take their opinions about, like, how they feel about their fandom or another fandom, and they just start trying to push it on other people as, like, a fact, and are unwilling to, like, unwilling to even, like, budge or anything about it.
Agreed. Curtis, what you got?
I think it's like when you're part of a fandom and you just start acting volatile to other fandoms or people within your fandom, or sometimes even to the person or thing you're even a fan of, just because they might not gel with the concrete vision of what you think it is. Like, I think I remember, actually, before I say an example, I'll just say your definition.
Alright, so my definition is pretty, I'd say, simplistic. I just think toxicity in fandoms is any action or just anything that you do that just creates a negative connotation on either yourself as a fan or on the fandom that you're a part of, because it's like you as a fan represent that fandom. Like, I like the Chicago Bulls, so I can't just be going around just saying, like, I don't, like, all the other teams are terrible and suck. And, you know, because somebody's going to be like, oh, well, somebody outside of that fandom would be like, oh, well, that's how the fans act. I don't want to support the organization.
Yeah.
You know, so being a part of a fandom is just like anything else, where you're a representative of your family, your job, your friends, you know. So when you do something that gives a negative outlook onto what you represent, you know, I think that's what can be considered toxic.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's okay to kind of, like, joke around sometimes. Like, you know, you and me, like, we'll joke around, like, since I'm more my hero, you're my Black Clover, we'll make jokes about each other, but we're not trying to, like, you know, mentally or physically harm each other because of it.
Yeah, or not trying to make the other fandom seem like it's something, like, just undesirable that you just don't need. So, most definitely. Very good at, like, definitions. I really agree with all your definitions. And, you know, some of y'all, I mean, I had a little bit more in depth. I just kind of had the simplistic, you know, thing that you hear at the job interview. Like, you represent us as well, you know what I'm saying? And so, most definitely that. Let's get into some examples of when we face toxicity. So, Quan, you can go first again for that one.
I did think about this one because it was funny. It was, like, around the time when I, like, first really started to, like, promote my channel and stuff and get more on, like, Twitter to try to have more of, like, a presence or whatever. And I remember saying that Asta is just one of the best new gen protagonists. And, like, the amount of, like, controversy that tweet hit, like, I think it had, like, 300 or something, like, of, like, likes and retweets, which isn't, like, super huge, but for me it was, like, really big at the time. And there was just so many people, like, and one guy stuck out to me. He was like, "You're so stupid. I wish I could headbutt you. Asta is dumb." And I'm just like, why though? Like, why was it that real for you? To headbutt me because Asta is dumb. Like, it was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, especially doing Black Clover stuff, for you, especially with the bad rep it got in the beginning, I can definitely see how being something Black Clover major can really just bounce back a lot of negativity on. Is it negativity? A lot of negativity on you. So
like, could you imagine that though? Like, can you really imagine like someone like you just walking down the street and someone said, "Hey, it's that boy Quan," just runs up to you and just headbutts you?
I mean, that's something that celebrities actually have to deal with. They like if somebody don't like you, they'll just be like, oh, I'll go try to punch him, and then so it's just weird, and especially nowadays with social media and how a lot of people just get so vocal, and then those
comfortable.
Yeah, and then those like how they vocalize things, and then they say it so many times, it kind of gets ingrained in them. So then like when they see something in the physical, they actually are comfortable enough to go do something. Like oh my gosh, he's wearing Black Clover stuff. I'm gonna go punch him. Like why?
Some of these fandoms are borderline armies now. It's like, oh, boys are going to war.
and it's just kind of crazy. And to give an example, when I had to deal with toxicity, I was on Tumblr for a while, just really enjoying myself, looking at pictures, anime girls, to be honest, and having kind of good conversations on a blog website. And I remember I didn't really know that the show Goblin Slayer was getting a lot of hate. And I remember I made around the 8th or 9th episode, when it was really getting to the crux of the story. I remember I made a post about what I really liked about the story, and then somebody came on there, because if you don't know, Goblin Slayer is a pretty dark story. So one of the things that happens is female adventurers, if they get defeated by goblins, they sometimes get raped by goblins. And I had made a post about something I liked about the story, and somebody's like, oh, Goblin Slayer silences rape victims, and you're a piece of shit for liking the story. And I was just sitting there I sat there for 10 minutes looking at that comment what? Because you ever just get hit with something that just makes you get philosophical with yourself? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know how to feel about this right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to go grab my Bible. I'm pretty sure I like myself. I'm pretty sure I'm a good person, I think. And then I was just sitting there wondering what do I even say to this? Because it was just so perplexing. Because I would have never thought somebody would say that to me. Because I mean, it's not like Goblin Slayer actually does silence rape victims. It's not like these women get raped and then Goblin Slayer kills them. Let me tell you about my troubles. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It was more a thing of he would save these women and get them, and they even told you what happened to them. Either they would become nuns or they would try to move on with their lives. So they gave you an insight on what happens to these women after this tragedy. So I was sitting there I don't really see where it silences victims. And
it is in no way advocating rape or silencing rape victims.
Yeah, and it's not even people doing it. It's just monsters, green ugly monsters.
See, my only issue with stuff like that is I hope that they do realize this is a fictional story. No one's actually getting hurt at all. Why are you being so upset about this?
A lot of it doesn't make sense, and a lot of things where it is fiction, and even where it fits in, because me and you both like Shield Hero.
Yeah.
So, Quan, have you watched the show Rising of the Shield Hero?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have watched it. Yeah, I've watched it.
Yeah. So one of the biggest controversies it had was the fact that it started off with a false accusation of rape, and people didn't like that fact. But I'm like, that's a facet of life. We're all black. Let us holler at the wrong Whitney. We gonna be in some trouble.
Also, it's a little side story about Shield Hero. I accidentally got my best friend in the anime through Shield Hero, because I was just had it on while I ate, and he was chilling in the back. I didn't think he was paying attention to what I was watching until the rape scene happened, and he jumped up. I was like, "What the fuck?"
The rape accusation.
Well, rape accusation, not actual rape. It was no rape. And I was like, "Oh, you watching this?" Yeah, man, bro, why they doing homeboy like that? And I'm like, "Come on, bro, sit next to me and watch this goodness."
Yeah, and people were really upset about that. And then I can't lie, Navi kind of he was being cool about helping out a little girl, but at the same time he did buy a slave little girl. So I'm not really helping your imagery out, buddy.
Man, that's not good. He didn't really care.
I was like, that's not good broadcasting. You could have just had her in the back or something. And then, I made a post about why I really like Naofumi as a main character. I thought he was the best protagonist of last year. I thought Shield Hero was the best anime of last year. And somebody was on there like, yeah, you know, for a slave owner, he's a pretty good guy. I was like, yeah, but he's yeah, and I was just sitting there again, just like looking at that, like deciphering it, just like what do you see in these letters? You know, just getting real philosophical on it. And I'm like, I mean, technically he is a slave owner, but technically he did that to save her life because she was gonna die, be bones or like worse. I guess he's bad because he owns the person, but he doesn't really own her. She kind of agreed to it. Is it slavery if it's agreed? I don't know. You know, it just had me getting philosophical.
But I would say like my example of Toxicity, I don't think I really had any like major altercations within the anime community. So I'm gonna branch out real quick into the video game community because now I own both Xbox One and PS4, but for the longest I've just been Xbox.
Boo.
And
Excuse me. I don't know what that was.
Well, I have my reasons for liking Xbox a bit more. But like I had so many people like just come at me, like some of my friends would come at me and was like, ugh, you're an Xbox guy? What? Y'all even have exclusives? And I was like, yeah, maybe not as many as y'all, but we have exclusives. Do y'all have a good Game Pass? What do you mean? Like, we have Netflix for games.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was still like, oh, nah, PS4 all day is still better. And I was like, bro, like, at this point, I like both, but why can't I like both? Like, no, man, you gotta like either one. Like, fuck Xbox. I'm like, why? I just keep asking why, because we never had like a concrete answer as exclusives. I'm like, that's only one reason. That's not really a good reason. Well, it is a good reason, but not the only reason.
Yeah, like I can definitely feel you on that, Curtis. Well, not on the Xbox thing. I like PS4 all day.
You never dogged me out about it.
Nah, that's
because
true.
I like Xbox.
That's true. I do like fuck with you about it.
I mean,
it's pretty funny. What side you
the
want?
actual like PC community is even worse.
Oh my god,
man,
yes.
oh god.
The PC master race, those freaking console peasants and stuff.
And I mean, in some ways I get it. It performs better, but I mean, if you're talking about like an entire 3-foot box just filled with an entire gigantic cube filled with all types of 5 different processors and graphic cards,
really expensive stuff.
There was one time,
like it should be better.
But there was one time I felt like the console people had every right to talk junk about PC. This was one game. It was the Batman Arkham Knight game. I heard that it just could not play on PC.
It was terrible.
But it ran smoothly on console. I remember I actually played Arkham Knight on the Xbox. I called my friends like, hey, you got Arkham Knight? Like, yeah. Are you playing it? I can't. Haha, I'm playing it right now.
Yeah. Sadly, sometimes the best way to deal with toxicity is throw that shit right back in the face, boys.
Yeah, but I was never rude about it. He knew I was joking.
Yeah, sometimes venom is the cure.
See, but I feel like as long as you just like do it in more like in a jokey way, you're not being too serious about it and stuff. I feel like that's okay. But when you're actually like serious, you're super serious to the point where like you make other people feel that type of way, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, and
I agree.
Just to kind of move on to the next point of it, like as far as fandoms go, I think we all have different opinions on what fandom is worse and also what form of media is worse. I mean, toxicity is anywhere. I mean, if you like music, people will jump on you for what artists you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had people who, I mean, I had my little cousin challenge me on whether or not J. Cole was actually good or not, and I had to make sure I didn't kill him. So, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, I had like one of my younger fraternity brothers like yeah, Little Uzi Vert is better than Kendrick, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, music.
That's tough. You handled that better than I would have already.
Yeah, like if you're into sports, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I mean, obviously, Chicago Bulls aren't doing that well, but you know, some people will see me wearing some Chicago stuff and just be like, oh, you support that sorry ass team? Like, I mean, maybe I just like the colors. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I think like I got it worse than you because like I'm more like into football and I'm actually a Jets fan and who likes Jets? right? Who likes Jets? But granted, when could happen this year when they beat the Steelers because my dad's a huge Steelers fan. I ate that shit up.
Oh yeah, I remember you calling me about that one. That was funny. But yeah, I mean when you get into sports, you got, you know, the LeBron MJ, that's like the most That's like the biggest Cold War, USSR, USA type thing. Cuban, and like if you like D Wade, you like Cuba in the middle. Like,
bro, just have an MJ and LeBron fan in the same room.
Oh man, so it's just like you know, sports. If you like acting, people be like, oh, you like Idris Elba, he sucks. Like, and then it's like, oh, Denzel Washington's the best actor of all time. And then like, okay, what about so like Leonardo DiCaprio? You like who? What? The white boy? Oh my god! Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, The Revenant was a good movie.
Yeah, so it's like any form can really be toxic. It's just that it just seems it hits different for the anime community. You know?
It does.
So Quan, what do you think is the most toxic, you know, fandom?
Yeah, like in any media, like what do you think is like the worst?
And like, so like including all of them, so like music, anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I lived in Pittsburgh for a very long time, so I'm gonna have to say sports, because like you want to see somebody get thrown out of a bar for liking a different team. Pittsburgh is the place to be for that, because it is all Steelers, it is all Penguins, it is all Pirates, like all the way. If you come in there with anything else, you get tossed out, like literally. So probably sports is the most toxic to me.
I feel you on that, because I mean I live in Columbia. You don't know about nothing about South Carolina. You got two choices. You either gonna be wearing orange or you gonna be wearing garnet and black. Because if you like Clemson and you live in Columbia and you go by Carolina, whew, your life. I ain't saying your life in danger, but your ass cheeks might be, because somebody gonna be trying to kick your ass, boy. That's the biggest rivalry in this state, and that is dangerous.
And it gets really heated.
And yeah, so that's a scary.
It's something that like. It's something that like I never really thought about, because like I mean I wear like clothes with like a sports team on it, just like I'm not even super like I'm into sports, but not nothing crazy. But coming from Ohio and living in Pittsburgh, like just wearing like a random sports T-shirt, and they're just like, "Oh, you ain't a Steelers fan?" Like just approaches me like you could be walking down the street, or like on the bus, or just like eating food at a restaurant, and they will just approach you like and ask you about your choices. I'm just like, I'm just chilling by myself right now. Why am I getting attacked?
I also remember I had a story at my job, and luckily she was just kidding, but if she wasn't, that flight was super bad. I was ringing her up and I was talking, and she asked me, "Hey, like, are you a Clemson or a Gamecocks fan?" And I said Gamecocks. At first, she literally took her stuff and went to the other register and just left me. I was like, all right, but then she came out. Now I'm just joking. I ain't that petty. I'm like,
it be like that, man. It be like that. I can definitely agree. Sports is definitely something that gets people really, really riled up, and I think it's because it's a representation of your city, where you're from.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you have success. Because I mean, sure, like South Carolina, we got, you know, Clemson and South Carolina and the Gamecocks, but I mean, Gamecocks ain't been doing shit the past like couple years, so nobody's really going to be all that defensive when you out and about in like California or something. But if you live in LA right now and you a Lakers fan, yeah, you pretty much might just die for that team right now.
Yeah, like, oh god, this man's saying, "Oh yeah, I don't like the Lakers right now."
Or imagine if you say a certain name, you
oh lord,
say something bad about a certain name, you definitely gonna get that Gayle King treatment. That ain't no joke.
Wait, so Mike, do you think that like sports is the worst, or do you have another fandom that you think is worse or just as bad?
I still gotta stick with anime, man. I've seen just some things I've seen, heard, especially with the fact that, I mean, the thing about sports is you don't really have childlike characters progressed in weird sexual ways. So I gotta stick with anime just on the variety of toxicity that can pop up, because you got the lolicons, you got the people who take My Hero way too seriously. You got the people that take Dragon Ball Z way too seriously, and
freaking power scalers, like
yeah. So you know, for me, I still have to stick with anime, and I gotta say it's a coin toss between DBZ and My Hero fans, but I might have to go with My Hero fans because nobody's ever threatened Toriyama. And we can all agree he's dropped the ball multiple times with some of these, power scaling things, but, nobody's ever just wanted to kill him for it. And My Hero fans, they definitely threaten Horikoshi about, either the anime, which he technically doesn't even have that much coverage over. Yeah. And
no, he doesn't. No, not really. Like, it's crazy. Like, they really have threatened him like a couple of times actually.
Over anime adaptation, and he's like, well, I mean, that's Bones.
I think the first time I had to like question my own fandom is like the whole entire thing that happened with Bubble Girl and Night Eye, and I was just like, why is that a big deal? Why
I mean, he was making her laugh, and she was cute.
I was just,
blue. Thought that was weird.
I was just like, dang, I kind of low-key regret my fandom right now.
Yeah, man. And I the reason I'd have to probably go with My Hero is because, like, Dragon Ball Z fans, like, they're crazy about things, but, they're more reactionary. My Hero fans, they're booted up for war most times.
They got their Glocks ready.
Because they will, if you say you like another fandom and, or you don't like Midoriya, like Nux Taku was talking about how he did his video. Also shout out to Nux Taku. He's a great channel. Go check that out. Some pretty good analysis.
Yeah, I watched that video, and guess what? As a My Hero fan, I didn't get offended. I laughed. As
a My Hero fan and not the biggest Midoriya fan, I definitely pretty much just enjoyed myself the entire hour. So that was funny.
But some of that was really funny.
That shit was hilarious, especially that simplest.
Bro, I laughed so hard because okay, Quan, he had made like a top tier list based off simp levels, and the top of the list was Boruto status. That was the top. Midoriya trumped that list so much that he became his own category.
Midoriya's he's a simp, is he?
I mean, that's what he thinks. That was his opinion of him being like the ultra simp.
I mean, isn't it though? I mean, if Hatsume landed on you, and then if you're supposed to be the big bad protagonist at this point, you're supposed to have your harem, and you all badass, kicking villain asses and stuff. Should you really just be freaking out over a pair of titties?
I mean, but then he is like 15.
I was like, yeah, man.
Like,
hey, man, listen.
He's like a sheltered
15 and saw some titties for the first time.
Look, man, GD didn't even see titties. They were just on top of his chest. You know what I'm saying? We all been through high school. We all done had that moment.
Okay, but that scene played out in the real world. That titty would have popped out.
I mean, yeah, more than likely. Like then it would have been acceptable because he would have just been like, no. But just for it sitting on top of him, I mean, we all had moments where like a girl pressed a little bit too close, and then we was all just like, yes, I'm manly.
Oh man, but hey, man, I could have said why you agree that anime is the worst. To me, though, I think one of the worst fandoms, and like I didn't know it was this bad until I entered the fandom. I was like, oh shit, this is bad. Is the K-pop fandom. Like, I got into,
oh gosh.
Yeah. I got into K-pop a few years ago.
They might be more toxic than us sports fans, for real.
Press pause. K-pop people, Curtis is saying this, so if you ever need somebody to murder, it's him. Alright? His picture will be on there. He's the short dude.
Hey,
I'm the light skin. Light skin is innocent. Just remember that, K-pop people.
Hey, they have no reason to murder me because I actually enjoy K-pop. I got into K-pop a couple years ago through BTS. I guess that makes me a part of the BTS army. I guess.
I mean, I don't listen to K-pop really, so
I really enjoy K-pop. I enjoy like the music, the choreography. It's like it's different than like I think it's one of the more unique types of music. This overall presentation.
The motherfuckers can't dance.
They can, bro. It's like a clone of MJ.
Yeah, they can definitely dance.
But I do dislike when like someone doesn't like. Because technically they ever come after you for not liking K-pop. I like when they don't like a certain group or they just don't like K-pop in general. They will attack that person, like straight up attack. Like it's crazy how much they will go after somebody. Like with the BTS army, love some of you guys, but like you shouldn't be sending death threats to people because they don't like K-pop.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck with the whole death threats and fandom.
Kind of intense.
Like that's the weirdest thing. Like yeah, like just death threats. Like death threats to either a creator or to just another fan. And that's how we got death threats for that Deku video. And I'm like, and he was like, yeah, some of y'all just be death threats. Very cool, scary.
But another point I want to make with K-pop is just like the way they also treat the groups that they're fans of, because like there's sometimes these people are still people at the end of the day. You shouldn't be swarming these people, trying to get a hold of them, trying to grab them inappropriately, just almost trying to tackle them and stuff, trying to actually physically harm them. They're trying to do their best to give you music, give you something to like look up to. You shouldn't be trying to attack them. They're still people. Talk to them if you can talk to them like regular people. I'll be like, oh my god, it's RM from BTS.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just feel bad for Jesus because low key he had the biggest fandom for the longest, but then
oh shit,
at least he earned it. You know what I'm saying? Like he did a lot of work for that fandom, so
yeah.
he earned it. But the rest of these guys, they just exist. This is kind of like I know he got to be salty up there, but most definitely, man, it's just so weird, just in a way of just how some people get so attached to things, and in some ways I get it. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm a huge One Piece fan. I think One Piece is like the best story ever written. But I'm more like the One Piece fandom is more reactionary because it's part of the Black Clover fandom. I think you can agree with that, Quan, because I mean, you don't really see too many Black Clover people like attacking other fandoms or saying bad things about other fandoms. But you know, like One Piece that's been going on for 20 years, so everybody else will just be like, oh, One Piece sucks. It's like 900 episodes. I was like, okay, then how does it suck? Oh, because like nobody's gonna watch 900 episodes. Like, yeah, you're talking to somebody that's watched 900 episodes. No, it's terrible. It's not like My Hero Academia, or it's not like Dragon Ball Z. You mean the Dragon Ball Z that throughout all of its series has over 1,200 episodes? Buddy?
I mean, when people say that, like One Piece. Oh, sorry, Quan, you go ahead.
I also never really liked that reason for like not liking cause like One Piece, just because it's that long doesn't take anything away from like the story or anything. Like I even know people personally that I suggested One Piece to, and they're like, no, I don't want to watch it because it's too long, or like no, it's bad because it's long. It's like, how does that make it bad?
I mean, like, I can kind of sympathize with people saying it's too long, because, like, that's a lot of episodes. That could be really intimidating at the very beginning. I can kind of understand, but I would never say One Piece is terrible because of that. In many ways, that makes it better for how its longevity, how it's managed to stay this relevant for, like, what, 20 years?
And also still has, like, the biggest fandom out of everything. Cause, I mean, over here in the West, like, we did a Naruto episode, and over in the West, like, everybody loves Naruto. But Naruto came in at a point in, like, 2004 with, like, our generation, and it was, like, a lot different than what we were watching. But over in Japan, like, One Piece is king.
I think it's kind of the same thing with Black Clover and My Hero. Like, manga-wise, Black Clover is probably killing it in Japan, while over here in the States...
Oh, no, My Hero still beats Black Clover out.
I thought you said that Black Clover...
I said a lot of people are liking Black Clover right now.
Okay. I thought you said that it was beating it now.
No. I said a lot of people are liking it a little bit more. But as far as what has the bigger sales, that's My Hero still number 2.
Okay.
Sadly. I mean, you know, as it should be. It's a senpai, whatever. But yeah, so, you know, it's just a little bit weird when you're on the receiving end of toxicity and you feel like you got to defend yourself. Because, I mean, like, for me, I remember I did a post one time right around New Year's. Where I was just saying, like, I'm kind of cross between, you know, my favorite anime of the decade, you know, between Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Black Clover, and Rising of the Shield Hero. And I mean, sure, I ended up going with Full Metal Alchemist because, I mean, that's what keep go. And somebody else commented.
No one can fault you for that one, I feel like.
Yeah, but then, you know, somebody else is just like, dude, why are Black Clover and Shield Hero even in your top 30? I'm like, because they're shows I enjoyed. Like, what do you not like about them? It's like, Black Clover sucks. It's like, did you watch it? No. But, so how do you know then? It's so reactionary because people will just shit on these shows and these stories and they never looked at them. You know, like I can see somebody say, I just never cared. Yeah, like I never really cared to watch it. You know, but it's something like that. But as long as you don't say nothing bad about it, like Curtis, you saw a show that you watched recently and I was just like, oh yeah, it never caught my interest. But I never said anything bad about this show. You know?
Yeah, that is true.
So it's a difference between that and just like, oh, you're gonna watch that garbage that's like practically an isekai? No, get out my face with that.
No, I'm actually surprised because like I consider Naruto to be not the GOAT, but at least up there. Like I say, at least easily top 10. I'm surprised I never really received any hate for that.
No, I mean, not too many people hate on that. I don't think so. I mean, people have issues with the war arc. I mean, everybody has issues with the war arc.
I love Naruto, and I have an issue with the war arc.
Yeah, but as far as like what people hate, unless it's Sakura.
Oh gosh, that's where the main.
She gets too much hate.
Unless it's Sakura.
The whole Sakura thing is toxic. Like
toxic as hell. You like Sakura. Like me personally, I like Sakura, and I don't want to post about like.
Yeah, Sakura. Just imagine we just like right now tweet I love Sakura. We'll get a message like, bruh, I'm gonna find you.
Like, oh my gosh, and people would just jump on you, and like, it's just weird how something that simple. Because I mean, it's just a character that's made. She didn't write herself. Kishimoto made her useless in the story. Like she didn't, you know. And he's the one that made Naruto and Sasuke like Jesus and Satan. Like,
I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, Naruto made an eyeball out of nothing.
Yeah, so
that oh my gosh, that was like I was like, what is even going on in this story? Like I remember when that chapter came out, and I was just like, what?
yeah, so I mean, it's just the way certain fandoms are. But then they say, you know, you have it with the Naruto fandom. Nowadays, it's getting a little bit toxic to me because, you know, with a lot of people throwing, you know, Naruto influence everywhere, and you know, they're like, oh no, this is a terrible adaptation of Naruto. I'm like, well, no, it takes touches from Naruto, but it's not Naruto. Like over it's its own thing. Because I think that's one thing that got a lot of people that kind of hate on Black Clover. It's like, oh, I should just allow loudmouth Naruto. I was like, nah, I consider him more loudmouth Luffy, but whatever.
See, my thing is though, like I'm in that camp where I think like a lot of shows are influenced by Naruto, but I feel like there's more to it. Like I think of Black Clover, the beginning you can definitely see many parallels to Naruto, but as the story progresses, I see more like you said, more hints of Luffy than Naruto.
It's one of those things where like it's the shonen genre almost. So it's like of course everything is gonna be somewhat like inspired by like the genre that it's in. Because like all shonens are somewhat similar to an extent.
Yeah, it's a formula.
Yeah.
Kind of like the current, not the current, but you know, the old generation big three, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. They had touches with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I think like with the current like big three, they should take influence from these shows and just improve on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch One Piece, you definitely gonna. Because actually, a friend of mine, he just got into One Piece, and he was just like constantly messaging me about it, like, oh hey, you know, this sounds like, you know, like when Goku jumps or something, or this sounds like Gohan's voice actor and stuff like that, and you know, it's like, hey, this pretty much looks like what something that's in Dragon Ball Z. It's like, yeah, well, One Piece is done by the same studio, Toei Animation, and also the creator of One Piece is a big Dragon Ball fan, so some things he mirrored off of Dragon Ball, which is dumb because Goku's dumb. So, you know.
And there's nothing like wrong with that. Like I don't think just because those are things, it doesn't make one a copy of the other one. Like it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's just that when it turns into, you know, you use that as the way to, you know, attack the fandom and be like, oh, well, this story will never compare to Naruto. Well, I mean, alright, Black Clover and My Hero, they're still in the 200s as far as chapters goes. Naruto's 700 chapters. Can we wait till... we get to like...
get there.
Like, can we wait till we get to like 400 to really say whether or not these stories are, you know, crafted out at all?
But Quan, I do have a question for you. Like, in your opinion, what do you think would be like the best way to combat toxicity in these fandoms? Like, what would be to like kind of get rid of that?
In my opinion, this is something I've actually thought about on my own a couple times, and like, I don't think there's a way to completely stop toxicity in fandoms or anything like that. But I feel like it's the responsibility of like the individual to almost try to deal with it and be open-minded. Like I know on my channel, I try not to be like really toxic towards anybody. Like outside of like a joke or a jab here and there. But for the most part, like I think if we are just like open, like we are open-minded and just like able to accept other people's opinions for just that, and not get like defensive or anything when someone says something different. Like I think that's the best way. It's just for more people to just be open-minded for opinions.
Gotcha. What do you think, Curtis?
I honestly, I fully agree. Like, I think, like, instead of, it's like, oh, like, you were trash, your show's trash, like, just try to really understand why that person likes that show. They like it for a reason. I feel like in any debate, I think, like, you should always understand the person opposite from you. And that way, I think that can also, like, first of all, it would make better friendships. People be friends. I feel like the My Hero and Black Clover people would be better friends if they did that. Not World War V. Yeah, I skipped a couple World Wars because that's how bad it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. World War Z. Get on to that one.
But I just feel like just understand each other better, see what they like. Like, you understand why I like My Hero a lot, and I understand why you like Black Clover a lot. So even though we're on two different sides of the field, we can still come together and enjoy both these shows for what they are. What about you, Mike? Like, what do you think can help kind of, like, I don't want to say get rid of it, like said Quan, that would be impossible, to kind of help combat it a little bit?
Hey, man, sometimes I think good old fist fight works. I don't know.
Let's fight it out. Fight club.
Hey, sometimes, though, like they say, war is nothing more than just another form of democracy. Not democracy, but debating.
So what you saying, like, right now you want to go outside, have a fight, and then come back in? It's like,
Nah, it's kind of hot outside. But honestly, I think a way, because one of the biggest things I was always like told when I was growing up was like, if you're having a debate with somebody and the only thing they can do is rely on insults, you pretty much won the battle. So it's just kind of like, if you just make your argument and you make your points and you make your validations, you don't go crazy about them, you don't, go all way off the wall about it, it's sometimes just best to just state your claim and then take your rewards as it comes. For you, maybe you didn't make the person agree with you, or maybe they did, but sometimes it's just good enough to just say what you think, put your opinion out there, and then walk away from it sometimes.
See, man, why can't people, like, be on their Jiraiya status? 'Cause I still remember Jiraiya about that one day the Ninja World would come together in harmony. Why can't all of us, all those fandoms, come together in harmony?
Does that really fit, though? Because, Naruto did have to throw their hands in pain. So.
Well, yeah, because, like, if all the fandoms could, like, coexist, that would be, like, crazy. Like, it would be a weird day on, like, Twitter or on the internet if all the fandoms could, like, exist.
I think the only time, like, mostly all anime fans were in agreement would probably be Demon Slayer with that 19th episode with that beautiful animation. And then, like, the next day, it kind of all went to hell when Demon Slayer fans was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest of all time. I'm like, and then everybody else is just kind of like, all right, man, time to check these people.
Wait a minute, guys, wait a minute. What if like, all the fandoms did come together and we created this superpower of anime lovers and we conquered the world?
I mean, at that point, we could probably get some decent adaptations of other shows, because I'm definitely sure that there's a bunch of just things that we've all seen. But actually, we've seen a good form of that. I think the best form of that would have been probably the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I didn't go out to see it.
Yeah.
And we all saw that original. We all saw that original design for Sonic.
Wait, Quan, did you watch the movie or no?
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it was good? I literally don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm like a big fan of like just Sonic in general. So just to see him have a movie, it was really fun. So I mean, like I just enjoyed it for what it was, just for it being fun. I'm not like I'm not gonna get super big into the Sonic lore and like pick out things to make myself upset about. But I was like, it was fun for what it was.
Did he at least eat a chili dog? I ain't gonna lie, that was my main thing, because I was like, throughout it all, that was Sonic's biggest thing.
I don't remember him having any chili dogs.
Oh, that movie sucks. I'm playing.
Wait a minute.
Movie's trash, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait a minute. I think we forgot about to mention one fandom, and I feel like I'm gonna catch a lot of hate for mentioning them. Star Wars fans.
Yeah, he was telling me about that.
The fandom menace.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'll let you talk more about that.
Okay, because like I remember.
Nobody hates this. No one hates Star Wars more than the Star Wars fans. Like
Facts.
Yeah, I'm just learning about this though. I think that's also a funny thing about Toxicity. A lot of it can go unknown until like you
enter that world.
Yeah, especially if you're not that big of a fan.
Yeah, but like me and K-pop, I know how volatile the K-pop fandom was till I entered that world.
I didn't know how bad the My Hero fan was until I got on social media again.
But now with Star Wars, man, it's so bad. I think it got so bad to the point where George Lucas, I think, quit. That was one of his main reasons for quitting and selling Star Wars to Disney because he just didn't want to deal with the fans anymore.
Or it could have been a money grab. I ain't gonna lie to you, but he made some money.
Oh no, I remember I saw like the interview thing. It was quote like, "Why would I make my movies when people like tell me why I'm such a horrible person?"
Oh, okay, yeah, I can't blame him for that. I wouldn't want to make that shit either.
But yeah, because people were dogging out these new movies, especially the last one. People hated the last Star Wars movie.
Damn.
Like when I saw it, I enjoyed it. I had my issues with it.
For it either.
Like, but I can rant about that last Star Wars movie because I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
I didn't care about the last trilogy, so yeah, I never really wanted to. I didn't get the point of the last trilogy, so
I hate it. Oh man, I absolutely hated it.
I wish Finn was the main character, not Rey. And no, it's not because she's a girl. It's just Finn was just a better character. Think about Stormtrooper, just becoming a Jedi. That would have been way better.
Yeah. So most definitely, I would agree that Star Wars, from what I researched, because I really had no idea, but when I looked into it, I was just like, yo, y'all motherfuckers tripping. But
I mean, it got so bad to the point where I think like they're putting Star Wars movies on ice for the time being.
I don't know, man, because I still gotta go with that My Hero thing. Because when they had that thing come out in the manga, and I mean, China canceled it completely.
Is it still canceled in China?
They even took like their like app off of the App Store. It was like crazy. Like
I mean, I don't know any other fan base that can really pull that off.
Yeah, it was because on that scientist's name, right?
Yeah. Some old World War II project. So you talk about something that's hundreds of years, like 100 years plus ago.
Yeah, it's like trending worldwide. I've definitely never heard of another like anime fandom accomplishing that.
So, and I think the only second closest thing might have been basketball, where somebody supported Hong Kong keeping its dependency from China, and then that caused like a lot of controversy. Which is also funny, I think, with Toxicity, because the smallest thing can really have things blow over. And that's kind of why I still stick with My Hero is probably one of the worst fandoms, because I mean, like, they was ready to kill Horikoshi just for like Nejira's cup size.
See, my thing is though with that, like, isn't that kind of counterproductive? Like, you're trying to cancel the thing you love.
Yeah, and it's like that's why I just don't get it. Like, as much as basketball fans argue, you're not really gonna see nobody like turn on their own team. Sports fans.
No, yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna like they'll definitely kick somebody else's ass, but as far as their own ass, they're gonna cover it. But it's like with anime, it's like people would just go like insane on their own story, and it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know, man. It's a weird thing, but I definitely.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing to think about, to love something so much that you'd be willing to get it canceled.
Actually, this kind of remind me of like a One Piece with Boa Hancock. Like, she looks down so much at somebody that she looks straight up.
Oh yeah. Man, don't be bringing up queens in this conversation, all right?
Hey, I agree with you. She's the queen, though.
I said queen. She's not the queen. She's a queen.
Oh, she's the queen.
No, she's a queen.
Well, she's like top tier queen.
You know what? That's a big thing, and also in like Toxicity, them waifu wars are serious.
Oh my
boy.
God. The shipping wars, bro.
Oh man,
shipping wars.
Like sometimes they'll be really civil, other times they get like crazy.
I mean, especially now, I can't lie. I'd really hate the greater than, less than, and equal to symbol now.
Where did that come from?
If you're not aware, on Twitter, especially on Twitter or anime Twitter, a lot of people have been comparing either a show or characters, and they'll have like a picture of the show, the greater than symbol, and then the other show on the other side saying it's less than one show, and that's just been creating like buttloads of people in comments just going insane. I have no idea where that came from. It just started, and it flew, and a lot of people been going off. I've never seen so many Noel less greater than the most of things in my life. I thought everybody loved those two characters equally.
I mean,
it's absolutely crazy out there as far as that goes. I mean, like I've seen, like, cause I remember seeing it like here and there, like towards the end of last year. But like this tier, it's just like you can't even, like, if you follow like a decent amount of people, you can't even scroll without seeing it.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think the only people I don't feel bad for, Demon Slayer fans. Because right now the biggest hopping show is Tower of God. And everybody is putting, like, it only has like 3 episodes out, but now a lot of people are saying it's better than Demon Slayer.
Oh, wow.
And the Demon Slayer fans are like, oh my gosh. And I was just sitting here like, karma's a bitch, ain't it?
It's going full circle. Like
that's exactly what some of them did with that episode 19. Oh, this is way better than like My Hero and One Piece and Black Clover. I'm like, yeah, but it's 24 episodes. Animation helps, but
it does.
It does, like, story. That's not even the story yet. So
like, we don't even know what's going on. Like,
I mean, I kind of consider Demon Slayer like in the same realm as Attack on Titan and One Punch Man. That's that one show that people who don't even like really watch anime are watching the show.
Yeah, but Attack on Titan fans just don't attack other shows,
which is weird because they got Attack in the name.
Yeah, that is funny. They had Attack.
Yeah, that is weird. Attack on Titan, like even when Attack on Titan was like really, really big, and like when it was like about to surpass like One Piece in sales and stuff, they still weren't really attacking people like all those years ago.
It was close.
It failed.
It was close.
Failed.
It was close.
You know who the king is, cuz. But nah, I'm being toxic. So yeah, this just that like it's. So what are some of the coolest fandoms? I think, because for me, I think the coolest fandom all time is tied between either JoJo fans or Gintama fans.
For me, I would say Attack on Titan fans. And
I gotta admit, JoJo fans, especially if you talking about like from the 90s JoJo fans, I've never heard them say nothing bad about it.
Yeah, but I feel like they have their own little war between all the JoJos, though. So they have no time to really talk about
like
other shows.
JoJo and like Gintama fans, all they do is just troll, like nonstop. It's just like,
but it's always in front, and that's just
joke.
because. I mean, if you're a Gintama fan, you have to troll because the creator
that's the base of the show.
Yeah, the creator is nothing but a troll. So you kind of like that's what you get.
I would never understand how he did not get sued.
all them parodies and nobody said nothing to him, but like
nah, a word. To me, I think like the chillest fandom, like as far as like the newer gen stuff, I think the Dr. Stone fandom is like super chill.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh man, I love Dr. Stone.
Like, I'm never hearing anything bad about Dr. Stone. I'm not hearing people who love Dr. Stone.
No.
Like,
People were shitting on Dr. Stone last year.
Really?
Yeah. You like Dr. Stone? People would be like, oh, that story is so cool.
Even the little bit I saw was pretty good.
Oh, I mean,
the only bad thing I would ever see about Dr. Stone is to say you said, oh, I like Dr. Stone, and people would be like, oh, you must have never taken chemistry in like high school. It's just like, okay, I can't just like Dr.
so
Stone.
a lot of people dislike the main protagonist Senku because, you know, it's like, yeah, I saw this dude talk about like, oh, I knew it was 3,700 years. How'd you know that? Because I counted. Oh, this guy's just such an asshole. I'm like, what? But it's not even an asshole thing. He just said he counted. Like, what else is he supposed to do?
It's so normal, like.
Yeah, and then people didn't like it for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, I get tired of this guy because he just act like he knows everything. I was like, but is he wrong? So
I'm trying to think. Really, the only fandom I could think of that's not really toxic at all for me is Attack on Titan. Because once all the casuals left, it's just united front of chill people.
Y'all were kind of stars for like 4 years.
Bruh. When we got to eat.
What could y'all say?
I mean, hey, when we got to eat again.
I mean, that was 4 years. And I think actually, I have to say, the one I would like to throw in there is actually the Vinland Saga fandom because that literally should have been. I mean, I still probably would have did Shield Hero above Vinland Saga because I like Naofumi better than the main character Thorfinn. But that show really could have just. You want to talk about beautiful animation? that show to me blew Demon Slayer out the water. Because, I mean, the choreography, and they had snow. And I remember hearing an animator talk about, like, snow is one of the hardest things to animate because it's just so much free movement. And they had that in Iceland. Beautiful, stayed perfect, no frame drops or anything. And it was just consistently beautiful. And the story is amazing. And nobody talks about it. And like, but the fandom was just like, fuck it, we know what the deal is.
I actually got a question from both of you guys. So just because like I haven't watched the show too much. I tried it, I just really couldn't get into it that much. So I don't know too much about the show or this fandom. How is the 7 Deadly Sins fandom? Like, are they toxic? Are they healthy? I don't know too much about them.
Like from my experience, because like I'm a pretty big fan of 7 Deadly Sins, and for the most part, it seems like the vast majority of them don't really like where the series went with the manga after a while. So like, it turned into one of those things where like it's like a self-hating fandom in the beginning, or I mean like in the end. But in the beginning, 7 Deadly Sins it was all just cool. They just enjoyed their little show.
Yeah, I have to agree. I didn't really see too much hate on the actual show. It was just kind of disappointment. Because 7 Deadly Sins, I will admit, I mean, I'm a huge fan of it too. Power scaling wise, it did worse than Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, because I want to give it another shot.
Yeah, power scaling wise, it did worse than Dragon Ball Z. But as far as the main, I think what happened was it went from more action based to more dialogue and kind of philosophical. So I think some people didn't really like that, because one of my things I said nowadays is like, if it's like dialogue is dead nowadays, you know, like a lot of people don't want to, or can't sit through something that's heavily based in dialogue and backstory. Like to me, one of the best series out there is the Monogatari series. I can definitely say it has its forms of toxicity. It definitely has, the fandom's not exactly the best. I mean, Monogatari kind of has some, it kind of has some touchy things in there that can definitely trigger a good bit of people. So I can definitely see where some people have issues with it. But you know, even then, that's nothing but dialogue, and I have to say that's dialogue that I completely love and enjoy, even though I have to read nothing but subtitles. So, you know. But a lot of people couldn't like deal with that type of show nowadays. So I think when 7 Deadly Sins made that switch to more dialogue based, like, you know, you get more into Meliodas' backstory, and you get more into the angel's backstory, the demon's backstory, human backstories. And, you know, a lot of people just didn't really like that switch. And also the power scaling was terrible.
And you said it was worse than Dragon Ball?
Oh yeah, that power scaling.
Because I mean, I watched Super, and Super broke a lot of things.
That thing. That thing got stupid. At least with Dragon Ball Z, you had the fundamental line of Saiyans can always get stronger, but with 7 Deadly Sins,
to an extent, I was just like, geez, they just threw it out of the window in the tournament.
That Kefla stuff, I kind of had me like, okay, the power scaling is gone.
I ain't gonna lie. Everybody who got mad at Kefla and was like, these guys can just so easy. I was like, y'all remember that 10-year-olds just so willy-nilly went Super Saiyan, right? And then they fused and went Super Saiyan 3. And Goku had to kill himself practically to get... Goku literally had to kill himself to get to that.
I thought that was a joke, though.
No, that was serious. Gotenks literally went Super Saiyan 3.
No, but I thought the creator did that as a joke rather than being serious.
I'm pretty sure the back tingling thing was serious. It was a joke and not serious. Like... But people went super hard, like, oh, so you tell me your back just tingles. I was like, yeah, but he never explained Goten and Goten. Okay, he never explained Trunks and Goten.
I can understand that, but for Kefla just going Super Saiyan should not be able to take on a god.
First off, let's not get too off topic.
Okay, yeah,
so
that is true.
Before we get toxic ourselves, we defeat the purpose of this episode. So most definitely, I would say 7 Deadly Sins, while it's not on the same level as maybe My Hero or maybe a Dragon Ball Z, because I mean the fandom for Dragon Ball Z has got like it's had its bad moments, but nothing bad. Aside from that though, I'd have to say I kind of like the Fairy Tail fandom. Aside from the waifu war it started on itself a couple years back, those are dark times.
I mean, you're the one who think Natsu just can get with everyone on
No,
the show.
first of all, I said Natsu just has his options.
No, he doesn't.
All right.
Well, okay, he has 2.
All right, technically 2.5, whatever.
Okay, he thinks okay, Quan. He thinks Urza
Doesn't he have 3?
and Natsu are a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely possible. Like, I could see it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I guess because Jalal is my favorite character, so I'm always Jalal and Urza.
It's like, I could see. I mean, like it's one of those things where, like, if it happened, I wouldn't be super mad. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I'd be like,
They're just so
okay,
comfortable with each other. It was just like they literally had an OVA where like the girls are in the bath and Mavis as a ghost couldn't enjoy hot water. So Urza had the brilliant idea, not to mention Urza and Natsu are like the same level of stupid. And Urza had the bright idea of like, oh, maybe if Natsu heats up the bath, then you as a ghost can feel the heat. So she literally called Natsu into the bath and just butt naked, he walked in comfortable. And they just had a regular conversation. And I'm like, who's this comfortable with each other?
I mean, I guess I just can't see them as a couple. I guess
It's like that couple that's just so comfortable that they forget that like people are there. You know, it was just so like their comfortability level is just always just odd to me.
Way
I'm like,
too high.
you know what I'm saying? Like this, you know, they're married, and you're just like, when did y'all get married? And they're just like, oh, I don't know, years ago. So that's why I always said it, but. Definitely Fairy Tail outside of the waifu wars, and some people had an issue with the last season. I think it was mainly the anime.
Yeah, I just realized what we just did just now could combat toxicity because we have our differences, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. But it's just like when you get too serious about it. Like I'm not gonna actually just sit there and be like no, Natsu could never give her Urza, and then I'll start choking you out. Like yeah, all right, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I think I have a couple issues with that too.
Yeah, but like just having to just fun talk about it and stuff like that, that definitely is one of the best things. And I think that's why some other fandoms, like the Gintama fandom, I think that's one of the best ones because, I mean, how many people actually can say they've watched the entirety of Gintama? I mean, I'm a fan of Gintama. I can honestly say I've never watched the entirety. Some of them arcs, some of them filler arcs would just like toss them out the window. But if you ask me on base story, Gintama is the second best shonen, hands down.
Jeez, is that good? I haven't seen all of it.
Man, I'm sorry. Like the backstories, like all the backstories for all main characters are just just heartwarming and heartbreaking. Not all of them, but majority of them are heartwarming and heartbreaking. The fights, the philosophical point of it, to where the main character has to kind of face his past, because you don't realize that till the end that he was running away from his past, and he had to face it. And that was the only way for him to fix his issues. Is to me like, and it's so good because there's no power scaling in it, so you don't really have to worry about it. Like there's no power system really. Like everybody likes to say the Nin system for Hunter x Hunter is the best system, but with Gintama it's just people doing extraordinary things. So you know, I always like that part too. You can never really go onto the power scaling. I mean, you can complain about some of it. You'd be like, oh, you tell me this nigga can do all this shit with a wooden stick? I mean, well, he's that level of swordsman, so.
I mean, technically speaking, some people in real life can do some spectacular things with a stick.
I mean, one part that I was just kind of freaking out on was, you know, Gatoki did kind of cut an entire robot in half with the wooden sword, and I was just kind of like,
was the wooden sword like sharp then?
I don't know, but I was just sitting there like, nigga, that's wood.
It's just that cold. I mean,
and
that strong, I guess.
And the story is just that funny. I mean, I'm sorry, that's one of the best comedies ever written.
I mean, I will give it this. It's one of those shows that can go from serious to funny, back to serious, back to funny, very smooth like, and it makes sense.
And you just don't care about how, like, what direction it goes, because it does whatever. But you know, the fandom just goes through and they like the story, they'll recommend it. People would be like, I think I'll pass. It'd be like, fuck it, and move on. And I don't know. You ever heard anything out the Hunter x Hunter series, Quan?
Yeah, I watched Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, out the fandom. You ever really heard anything bad?
About the fan? I mean, outside of like some of them thinking that it's like just like the best written series like ever, but like I feel like a lot of people, or at least I feel like they think that just because there's lots of like dialogue and lots of like exposition and explaining in it, which doesn't really make it the best just because they had to explain a lot of it. But outside of that, here and there, I haven't really seen too much like toxicness from them.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I've seen too much.
And like, like it's definitely not old or anything, but I do think like since because it like wrapped up in like 2013 or something, so it wasn't really around when its stuff started to get like super toxic. Yeah, like, it wasn't like prominent, I guess.
I think that 2011 was a remake. Because I think Hunter x Hunter actually, it's kind of like JoJo's. Like everybody knows JoJo's from back in like 2010 and 2012, but JoJo's originally started, I think, in like the 90s. And Hunter x Hunter, I think, started back in the 90s too, but the remake just blew everybody away. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah. You're right. It did have like a like I can't remember where it stopped. Like I think it stopped somewhere in like York New for the original, then the remake. Like,
no. The original I think fully went through, and I think everybody became like adults in the original back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, it had its own ending.
Yeah. Kind of like the Sailor Moon thing, where Sailor Moon had like the original story that kind of came to America and got like completely fucked over. And then like they went back and redid the story with Crystal, I think. I don't know. My sister's a huge Sailor Moon.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because the original Sailor Moon story, when it was trying to come to America, it was just so political. It was so politically biased over here that they cut out like a lot of stuff. Like 2 of the Sailor Scouts were gay and in a relationship, and then they changed that completely that they were cousins.
Oh, so they cut that completely out.
They cut that completely out. An entire arc got taken out because it got either too graphic or violent or something like that. Same thing happened actually with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Apparently the final arc for it never got shown in America.
The final arc didn't even get played. I was very upset about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just can never get into that show.
I love GX. 5Ds is my favorite.
I was more in the original on 5Ds.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. GX, that was my jump. I love Jade and
Yuki.
There was one show after Zexal, I think it was. I did not like Zexal.
Like Arc V or something.
I heard that one was pretty good, but I was still 5Ds in the original.
Is that the Playmaker one?
Is that? I have no idea.
I have not watched the past 5Ds.
I got to Zexal and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, so I was like, after 5Ds and that badass protagonist and Yusei, and honestly, actually the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom might be a pretty good one. I've never heard nothing bad. I don't really hear too much comparisons out the original 3 protagonists, because you had Yugi, Jaden, Yusei, and everybody kind of liked them for their own reasons or didn't like them for their own reasons.
I mean, actually, I have to agree. Like, I feel like everyone's pretty chill, even if they have the specific shows they like. Even though I don't like Zexal, I know there's fans of Zexal out there, and
they don't attack the other series.
Yeah.
Definitely can't say that about Pokemon, though.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Definitely cannot say that about Pokemon, boy. Because if you a Misty fan, you better not bring up May.
I mean, I'm a Misty fan.
I'm a May fan all day. I don't even know who this new chick is that they brought in, that apparently like best girl or whatever, Serena or whatever her name is. But she's already classified as best girl. I mean, her story is kind of already done. Ash is moving on to another thing, so. But I don't know though. It was kind of cool when you finally heard that Ash finally won championship. That was like,
oh yeah, Quan, what you think of that?
Like he finally won it in like everybody's like least favorite place, like no one like the whole region for something.
If I remember correctly, I think I haven't watched it since Diamond and Pearl.
I mean, I still play Pokemon Go. Does that count?
I mean, I got the Dungeon Monster really remastered, but I don't know. I remember hearing that. I heard that he won, and that was like America news. Like, I'm really surprised that wasn't on CNN.
Like, I had to look back at it, and I'm like, oh shit, he legit never won.
Like, I mean, technically he won the Orange League, the Orange Island thing, and he won the Battle
For someone
Frontier.
like for some reason nobody ever takes that as like quote unquote canon, but I'm like the entire Pokemon anime is essentially filler if that's the case. Like,
Yeah, because the manga is so much different. Which, I mean, maybe the Pokemon manga fandom is not that bad because, I mean, aside from them saying Ash ain't shit, if Red is the shit, which is true, you know, you don't hear nothing out of them. But yeah, I mean, the fandom though, even if you were out of the fandom for like decades, if you, as soon as you heard that like Ash won, you were like legit happy and proud. And then next thing you know, you kind of dig deep into it. You're like, oh, that was their first league. Okay,
Actually, now that I think about it, you know what fandom that I'm surprised have beef with each other that I didn't know about till recently? I don't think you even know about it. I actually think there's not a big beef where it's like all out there, but I think it's like a little small, tiny beef. It's the One Piece manga readers versus the One Piece anime watchers.
Oh no, that's a huge.
So it is huge. Oh, it is huge.
No.
I thought it was small.
No.
I'm just figuring this out.
Listen,
so I thought,
listen. That we'd be here for a whole other day if I.
oh shit. I just found out about this like a week ago.
Dude, I mean, the biggest thing, because let's remember, One Piece, I mean, as far as Demon Slayer goes, when how the anime trended in America, One Piece chapters does that on like a regular. Because, I mean, when you had Luffy versus Kaido, and Kaido beat Luffy, in the manga, he one-shotted Luffy. Like, Luffy got one attack in, went to go attack Kaido, and then got one-shotted. Spoilers, I guess. And like in the anime, they had it to where Luffy went through his entire arsenal of attacks, and then all that did was like sober Kaido up, and then he one-shotted him. And manga fans hated that. They're like, "Oh my gosh, they drug it out." I was like, I mean, a little bit, but isn't that kind of more intimidating that Luffy went through his entire arsenal of his strongest attacks, and this dude was just like, "Thank you for sobering me up. I got a little headache, but whatever."
I have like mixed feelings about that too, because something like that happened in Black Clover, and I didn't like it either.
What part was that?
With when Asta and Yuno fought against Lich when he first like had like got up in,
You didn't
in the
like
manga. It's like I liked the fight like because it was hype, but like how it happened in the manga was he literally like woke up and like beat them up super fast and got him out of there. But like in the anime, they had it like Asta and Yuno were like actually fighting against him. When like none of that happened, where like Yuno was flying up there like outside of the whole hideout fight. Like I was like, what is going on? Like,
well, I mean, in my thing with the manga, because I always said this, and I had a good couple people disagree with me. I always thought the pacing of the manga was just a little bit too fast. Like that moment makes sense in the manga because I mean you got this badass leader and this top dog character, and you know and Asta, even with the level he's at, I'm like, yeah, you should stand nowhere near a chance against this dude even while he's half awake. And it made sense why they got on, but in the anime, it to me, well, the anime has to be 24 minutes. So I mean that definitely in the manga, that manga fight, if that did like that, it wouldn't have been 24 minutes. So, in the anime,
like it wasn't even its own chapter. Like it happened at the end of another chapter. Like that's how like fast. It was so short.
Yeah, but then in the anime, it lasted the entire episode, and I just enjoyed it because, like, the way they emphasized like how hard these two had to struggle to just get on. They never hit them either. So like
no, they landed no hits.
You had pulling out like just god tier level magic, and this dude,
all kind of stuff.
And this dude was just with one sword. He stole Asta's sword. By the way, come on, you gotta admit that was one of the coolest things when he just walked up. He didn't even walk up. He just floated and then took Asta's sword out of his hand so casually, like literally. Like just grab your phone, like that. Took the sword out of Asta's hands and I used it perfectly right then and there.
How?
This dude is, when you get to that point, you're gonna be like, whoa. Because when he did that, and I was like, whoa. Because I remember in the manga, he had took the sword, but I didn't think the anime would have made it that smooth, because he literally just like popped up, and they're both like, wasn't he like 20 feet away from us just now? And then next thing you know, he was just like, I'll just borrow this for you real quick, and then whoop your ass with it.
It's not as bad as Bleach when Ichigo got his attack stopped by a finger, so this wasn't that bad.
That happened in the manga. That happened in the manga.
When they stopped his little theme music, I was like, oh my gosh, like
that was such a hype. I'm sorry, I don't get how people dislike that moment. That was such a hype moment, because you thinking Ichigo about to go turn up, and you like, yeah, he just beat one of the strongest captains.
No, but I remember because I don't remember a lot from Bleach, but I remember like Ichigo's built up. I'm like, oh shit, and then just to get stopped just like that.
But that was perfect. That to me, that was great writing, because I mean, Aizen was literally being hyped up at this moment, because I mean, in the original, you had Aizen just kind of look like a little bitch character, like, oh, he got killed that easily as a captain, boo. And then when he came back, I think they had to make him that badass to where you're just like, I apologize for my statements earlier. You are indeed terrifying. So I think with that one, especially with the way it worked in Black Clover with Asta and Licht, Asta and Yuno versus Licht, it was just so intimidating with the extra stuff they put in there, because you're like, how are they supposed to win again? You know, it just adds that question on there. And I think the only one I agree with would have been Mirio versus Overhaul. I think they short-sighted that fight a lot.
Really? I actually enjoyed that fight.
Nah, in the manga it was so much better. Because, I mean, Mirio was giving niggas the hands, especially after he lost his quirk.
I liked the style of the fight because it was different. I still think it got his message across.
The main issue was those screens, those single shots.
Like the little slideshow?
Yeah, where like he was just
they didn't really like give him his full shine.
But in the manga, it looked like he was literally giving people the hands just off of hands. And I mean, it made sense, because Mirio, even without his quirk, that motherfucker built like a tank.
I think that was more so just an artistic choice, and I think it still got his point across.
I mean, one thing I think that people forget is that with animation, sometimes these things, I mean, that's a lot of work. Like, animating these things there's a lot of work. So, I mean, for what they did with Midoriya's fight, I'm pretty sure they had to make a sacrifice there.
That is true, because that animation was...
I mean, it was great.
Beautiful.
I mean, personally, I don't really like it when he did that one punch and then it turned into like a million, and I was just like, where are these extra fists coming from?
I mean, you could say the same thing about
I was
Luffy.
like, what? I was like, what state Smash is like that?
Like, this is the true United States of Smash.
I'll take my statement back, because Luffy is punching fast enough where it does.
Yeah, I mean, his makes sense because it's his elasticity, so he's really just doing his own punches, but he's bouncing them off fast enough. It looks like multiple ones. So, I mean, it was whatever for me. I liked it, but I was like, with that Mirio fight, I feel that we kind of got the short end of the stick, you know? So I could definitely see where some manga readers will just be like, the anime does us dirty. And then, you know, obviously I'll be like, yeah, baby. But I can never tell nobody, not to watch the anime, because I'm sorry, interactions, especially with voice acting added in, plus music. Because, like, I know you said, like, with One Piece, you don't like the 15th opening when they come back from the time skip.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a dude was about to be like Rayleigh, a little tear in his eye. When you saw Luffy and the music was playing in the background and he told Rayleigh, I'm going to be king of the pirates. And you just sitting there like, yes, you will. Yes, you will, young man. And then he got back with the crew. And it was still playing. And you were just like, the fam back together, man. And in the manga, like, it's cool, but in the anime, the music, the voice acting, the expressions, and everybody bouncing around, it's definitely something that I would always say for manga readers who would tell people, like, just read the manga. I can never tell nobody that.
Okay, I respect that.
As far as sub and dub, though,
Wait, since you just brought that up, hey, Quan, like, what is, like, maybe, like, one or two of your favorite openings right now? Just out of curiosity.
Openings right now?
I put him on the spot.
I know, I'm sorry.
I usually skip a lot of openings.
Me too.
So, like, yeah, I'm not like a big opening anywhere. I'd be skipping those. I don't be having the time.
It's only a few. I can honestly say I don't skip. I only hit a few.
I mean, I skip openings too, even the ones I like. After like hearing them like 5 or 10 times, I'm like, all right, I love it, but I just want to watch the show now.
Yeah, as much as I love One Piece opening 11, by the time we got the Impel down, I was like, all right, I know the song.
But like if I had to pick like ones just in general that I like a lot. For some reason, even though it stayed the exact same, I really like the Hunter x Hunter like theirs.
That's true. And
like I have no idea why. I would just keep watching it. There's it's probably like for a show that I binged, I watched that intro probably like way more than I thought I would have.
I gotta admit, when for me that probably like Yu Yu Hakusho's opening.
Okay.
Oh, that one too.
Especially anytime it went to a different arc and they changed up little pieces in the opening, like I would just be wanting to watch that change. Like just to see the differences in the openings. Like, okay, this character got added. They added this scene. Okay, cool. I remember when they had this part of it. They took it out or whatever. So definitely, and also with Hunter x Hunter, because my favorite version of it was when like they were in that tower thing. And
the Heaven's Arena, I think.
Yeah, and they were running down the building, and that's how it started. I remember that. I can't lie, like I have no idea why that had me so hyped for that arc. Because I'm like, why are these two midgets running down this this 100-meter building? Why are they running straight down it, and how are they not falling and dead? So yeah, most definitely, I can feel you on that. And I think for this episode, that'll pretty much wrap everything up. Yeah, I think we did pretty good. We did get a little bit off topic.
We did, but hey, that's
the point of the
podcast.
how it be.
That's how it be. So guys, what is the moral of the story?
I'd have to say if you're liking something, like it to a point, but don't like it to a point where you start making it look bad. Never make what you like look bad. And if you're dealing with somebody who's attacking you for something, sometimes it's just best to leave it alone. Make your claim and take your victory as it is.
I think like one of the bigger things that I can take away is it is okay to let people like things. Like just because you don't like this thing, but someone else does, you can let them have that. Like,
oh man, because I'd say for me, just let everybody just be nice to each other. We all love anime. All these shows is under the banner of anime. Let's just all be kind to each other and enjoy what we love.
Most definitely great words. And Quan, I really have to thank you again for coming to join us as a guest on the show.
I mean, you like if you were to, Quan, if you do come back, then we'll remember this moment. So,
oh man, we gonna have a big Black Clover versus My Hero debate one day. So we might bring you back in for that, or that might just be a one-on-one. You never know.
I mean, like, if that's the case, I mean, I might even find someone, make it like a tag team match.
Great, man. So, most definitely,
I'll be definitely down to come back. I did have, like, a lot of fun.
We really appreciate it, especially since we stole, like, a lot of your day. Like, an hour out your day, over an hour each day. That's very much appreciated. And, you know, just really enjoyed having you here. And also, we enjoyed your takes on a lot of things. People, be sure to go follow and subscribe to his channel. Follow him on Twitter. Do you have any other social medias you want to shout out that you use?
Nah, it's just those.
All right, so be sure to follow.
Not that I would want anybody to find him.
That's a good point. You know, unless you're creepy, then don't follow him. And, don't follow us neither. But if you're a regular person, we definitely support you. And thanks again for coming out. And thank you again for everybody who listened to this. Be sure to, you know, subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, check out the other spots that we will be having this on, like Spotify. And be sure to rate us on those different radio podcasts.
And guys, remember, surpass your limits and plus ultra.
I'm not saying plus ultra. So, yeah, everybody.
He doesn't deserve to say those words.
And also, you know, he's still dealing with that COVID-19 thing. It's getting kind of bad.
Yeah,
so,
please stay safe out there.
Outside of surpassing your limits, be sure to wash your ass. And we will definitely catch you next time.
This shit is too easy. Tell them I have no rivals. When I walk up in the spot, they know they nothing to me, and they got a bag for their survival.